All right, hi everybody. Sorry I can't be there again today. So I'm going to do just a quick video on really kind of two things. First thing is factoring trinomials. So we're going to do a section on factoring. Actually, we're going to do a couple days on factoring. The book really doesn't give any time to kind of go over factoring, make sure you guys understand how factoring works. We decided a couple years ago to kind of put in this little factoring review couple of days. So that's what we're going to do today because it's such a key concept that you'll need from here on out. So, and I'll explain a little bit more about what we're going to do the next couple of days a little bit later on after I get done with the lesson here. So why don't you go ahead and get out your homework. If you haven't done so, please submit your assignment up to Canvas. And I got the key here, so just kind of check your answers. Again, if you need any additional help, sorry, I scrolled past 12 and 14. If you need any additional help, you can always send me a message. I can shoot you a quick video on how to do some of the problems, or if you want to ask a friend around you, you can do so and make sure you kind of understand what's going on. There's the graph as well. And here's 20 and 26. Okay. And again, pause where you need to. Really, the book gives the maximum and minimum values as just the y value, and that's technically okay. I like to give it as the full coordinate, like -3, 10 here, but either one is acceptable. Or if you wanted to get really funky with the range here, you could say y is greater than or equal to 10. You could say bracket, or sorry, less than or equal to 10. Sorry, I got to go the other way because it's a maximum point. So you would say, parent, comma, 10, bracket, and on the left side, remember that would look like this, -infinity in interval notation. There's 30. There's 31. And the graph for it as well. And there's 39. This one is kind of interesting here because, for the axis of symmetry, you need to have two values with the same y value to figure out what the axis of symmetry is. And so since I know this is at 1, 48 and 3, 48, I know that those two, since they have the same y value, any 2 points with the same y value are equidistant to the line of reflection. So if this is 1 and this is 3, you know that the axis of symmetry is x equals 2, and therefore that in fact for sure that 2, 64 is the vertex. And the same principle is really applied here. Yeah, you know that halfway between -7 and 3 is going to be -2, and since they have those two values have the same y value, then the x values are equidistant. Okay. All right, so let's pick up here. So again, this should be a review from Algebra 1. Everything that we do within these next couple of days should be a review of Algebra 1, but it's such a key concept that we should go over it a couple more times here. Okay, so let's start by talking about factoring trinomials. Now, let me remind you about this whole standard form thing. Standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. The difficulty on factoring comes when a is a number. That's when it gets a little bit more difficult. A number bigger than 1, I guess I should say. If it's just x squared plus bx plus c, life is a little bit easier. When we add on a number, say like 2x squared plus bx plus c, that's when it's a little bit more difficult. Okay, so what we're going to do here today is kind of go over those factoring problems. Okay. All right, so let me show you here. Now, every trinomial well, I shouldn't say every. Most trinomials, if they are factorable, will factor into two pieces, x plus n1 and x plus n2. Sometimes we'll have a number out front, but this is the case where a is 1. Okay, this is the case where a is 1. So if a is 1, you have to ask yourself what multiplies to give you the last number, c, and adds to get you the middle number, b. So for example here, what multiplies to get us -3 and adds to get us positive 2. Well, let's list out my factors of negative 3. Negative 1 times 3, and negative 3 times 1, because negative 3 is prime, right? There's no more factors. So then we say, okay, which one of those adds to get me positive 2? That one, right? So that means when I go to factor, I can just say x minus 1, x plus 3, right? And then we're done. Again, if a is 1, life is pretty good. You know, if I really wanted to, I could FOIL that back together to see if that would come out to be the same thing that we started with. You know, so if I wanted to check my work here, I could say first, x times x is x squared, outer, plus 3x, inner, minus 1x, last, minus 3. Combine like terms in the middle, x squared plus 2x minus 3. I shouldn't box that. That's not technically my answer. That's just the check. This was my answer, right? Okay. All right, so let's do that. Let's check some. Again, with each of these problems, please pause, and then when you're ready to pick up, go ahead and do so. Also, you'll notice that there is no guided notes for these sections, so sorry. All right, so x squared plus 15x plus 56. So what I have to ask myself here is that what multiplies together to get us 56, but adds together to get us 15. Now, some of you might be like, "Oh, I know that one. It's right off the top of my head. I know that." You're gonna find that the more skilled you are with identifying your math facts, the better you're gonna be at these factoring things. So some of you already see it. 7 times 8. 7 times 8. If I really wanted to, I could list out all the factors of 56, but it's 7 times 8. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 plus 8 is 15. So I can say x plus 7 and x plus 8. Okay. Let's try another one here. X squared plus 4x minus 12. Now, watch out here. The number I'm trying to find the factors of is a negative 12. So if I go to list out all the factors of negative 12, I have to say negative 1 times 12, negative 2 times 6, negative 3 times 4. And then I have to keep going because since one of them is negative, I have to say, okay, negative 4 times 3, because technically that will give me a different sum than my other one. Negative 3 plus 4 is positive 1. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So it does give me something different. So let's finish out my list. Negative 12 times 1. All right, so which set of these adds together to get positive 4? This one right here. So that means I can say x minus 2, x plus 6. And there's my answer. Okay, let's do one more of those. Now, again, pause and try to figure it out on your own. Now I'm trying to find the factors of negative 30 that will add to give me a negative 1. Now, the smaller you get down here, the closer those numbers are going to get together, like here. Really, I'm looking for a 1. Actually, it's a negative 1. So it's either negative 5 times 6 or negative 6 times 5. I just have to figure out whether I want a positive or negative. I want a negative 1. So negative 6 plus 5 is my negative 1. So I can say x minus 6, x plus 5. Notice again that this is the commutative property holds here so that we can change the order if I really wanted to. I could say x plus 5, quantity x minus 6 if I really wanted to. Those are the equivalent. All right, so how does a, when I make a something bigger than 1, how does that make our life a little different? Well, let's take a look here. Here's the method. Now, my algebra teacher taught me that this is called factor by rewrite, and you'll see how in a second. Okay, some people call this the master product way of factoring, master product. Some people don't use this thing. Some people just do guess and check. I don't love guess and check because I don't know, there's something about it that I just want a way to do it and it's going to work every time. Guess and check is kind of like, well, I don't like guessing at my math. So I like doing this method. This is the method I'm going to show you. It's called master product or the rewrite method. So what I do is I find the product of A and C, the master product. That's where this gets its name, the master product of A and C together. And then I find the factors of 60 that will add to get to 19. So factors of 60, 1 times 60, 2 times 30, 3 times 20, 4 times 15. Bingo, I can stop. Found it. 4 times 15. Now, instead of going straight to my answer, because a is 1, I have to rewrite the middle term, and this is where it gets the other name. I have to rewrite the middle term. Now, my first term stays the same, my last term stays the same, but my middle term gets split up. It gets split up into the two pieces that we found, plus 4x, I don't know why I spread it out so far, and plus 15x, okay? Now, at this point, I now factor by grouping, okay, which means I underline the first two and I underline the last two, and I pull out a GCF, a greatest common factor out of each one of those. Okay, well, the GCF of 6x squared plus 4x, well, they both have a 2 and an x in common, leaving us a 3x plus 2. The GCF of my 15x plus 10 is a positive 5. Notice I include the sign there, positive 5. And how coincidental, if I divide out my 5, I get a 3x plus 2. Now, you'll notice here that these are the same thing, right? Those are the same thing. That has to happen for this to be factorable, okay? All right, now I pull out the 3x plus 2, so one of my factors. See, now notice how they both share that 3x plus 2? That's like the common factor now. They both have that 3x plus 2 in common, so we remove that out front, and the leftover pieces are my other factor. 2x plus 5 is my other factor, and that's my answer. Okay, that's called the master product method or the factor by rewrite method. So let's do a couple of those. All right, so let's, if you think you want to try it on your own, go for it. You multiply 3 times 2, you get 6. We find the factors of 6 that add to get to 7. So it's 1 times 6. First term stays the same. Last term stays the same. And then we say plus 1x plus 6x. Now, I can reorder those. I could have said plus 6x first and then plus the 1x, but I didn't need to. Or I mean, not that I didn't need to, it just doesn't matter. Okay, underline the first two, underline the last two, and factor by grouping, pull out the x. I'm left with a 3x plus 1. I pull out the 2 that they have in common, and we're left with a 3x plus 1. And when I say what they have in common, that means they both are divisible by that number. You know, I can remove an x out of both of these. I can remove a 2. I can divide out a 2 out of both of these. So my first factor is the 3x plus 1 that they both have in common in the parentheses, and the pieces left over are the x and then the plus 2. And that's my answer. Again, if you, oops, sorry, thanks. That's really cool. Yeah, box that again. If you wanted to check your work, you can FOIL that back out, right? First outer inner last. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 2 is 6x. 1 times x is 1x. 1 times 2 is 2. 3x squared plus 7x plus 2. Oh, again, I shouldn't box that. This is just the check. Did I get what I started with? Yeah. All right, so let's keep it rolling here. I have 3 times 5 to get 15. Now watch out here. My master product is 15, but I'm looking to get a negative 16. So that means that both of my factors have to be negative. Like, isn't negative 1 times negative 15 still a positive 15? Yeah, I can do double negatives like this if I wanted to. I know I want my sum to be a negative. So if this is positive up here, I do want both of mine to be a negative. All right, now rewrite the first term. The middle terms are negative 1x and minus 15x. And now I underline the first two and the last two. I see that these both have an x in common in my first set, leaving us a 3x minus 1. Now, do you see how I lead with a negative here in these two? That means I want to factor out that negative as well. So I factor out that negative. They both are divisible by 5. So negative 15 divided by negative 5 is positive 3. Positive 5 divided by negative 5 is a negative 1. And look, they're the same. So it's 3x minus 1 and an x minus 5. Okay. And here's our last one. So try this one. Go ahead and pause and see if you can figure this one out. All right. So I've got 6 times a negative 10, negative 60. So one of my factors is negative and one of my factors is positive. Now I've got to get to 17. So that's going to be a negative 3 times 20. Negative 3 times positive 20. All right, so that means the first term remains the same. Negative 3x plus 20x. You're going to find that if you have one negative, one positive, always put the negative factor first. It'll kind of remove any times when you would have to factor out a negative. I pull out a 3x. They're both divisible by 3, and they both have an x in common, so divide that out. Left with a 2x minus 1. These are both divisible by 10. So I can pull that out to get a 2x minus 1. So they share that 2x minus 1. That's one of my factors. The other factor is the 3x plus 10. Okay, there's my answer. All right. So that's the notes on factoring, okay, day 1. So let me explain what you're going to do with your remaining time today and what you're going to do with almost all of next week. Let me show you here. Okay, so Mrs. Namples has been very kind, and she has set a bunch of these papers by the door. Okay, that's on my table by the door. Okay, so this blue sheet is kind of like your roadmap for the next week or so. Okay, this blue sheet is one that everybody's going to need and want. Okay, I will be referencing that blue sheet. I'm going to be calling it the blue sheet. Now, so what you're going to be doing over the next week is basically these 9 boxes. Okay, this is called our 5-1 to 5-3 choice board. Now, so what you're going to be doing, you're going to be working on any box at your own pace. Sometimes you'll have to do some boxes before another, and I'll talk about that in a second. By next Friday, you're going to staple all these together and turn them in at the beginning of class for our review. Again, make sure that you notice that some boxes require others as prerequisites, as ones that you have to do first. So let me kind of walk through each one. Okay, so the first thing here, factoring day 2 video. So we just did the factoring day 1 notes. The factoring day 2 video is a video located on Canvas. It's a video from a while ago, so I'm sorry if it's a little outdated, but I teach the exact same thing, so it's not too bad. So there's a video already posted on a Canvas. I'll show you where everything is on Canvas here in a second. Then you have this factoring worksheet, complete the factoring worksheet. Numbers 1 to 31 going by 3. So that means 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, and so on. But you got to do both sides. Okay. Now you'll notice down here that every time you're going to be turning something in, you'll see that note down there at the bottom. You're not going to turn them in individually. You're going to turn them in all at the end by next Friday. I believe this factoring worksheet is, I think it's this one. Factoring worksheet. Factoring worksheet. That one. Okay. Notice that you can do that one right now if you want to. You could spend the rest of the day watching this factoring day 2 video. You could not do these section 5-3 notes. I'm hopefully going to give you these by the start of next week. It all depends on if I'm there at the start of next week. Hopefully I can teach you that on Monday or Tuesday. If not, I'll be doing a video and you'll see me posted on Canvas. Okay, on Canvas you'll also see a Desmos assignment. Desmos is that graphing calculator. It's a really cool activity. It kind of walks you through transformations again. And notice there is no prerequisite to that one, so you don't need any additional information before you do that. Now, the first one with a prerequisite, look right here, must have watched day 2 notes. So you have to do this video before you do this puzzle worksheet. Okay, that puzzle worksheet is right here. This is the puzzle. Okay. So you'll have to have watched the Factoring Day 2 video before you do the puzzle worksheet. The review Factoring B, you can do this right now. I think you might, maybe wait a little bit. I'm not sure if you need a prerequisite for that one. I'd have to look at it. I don't think you do, but that's this one. This is the review Factoring B. Okay, that's the review Factoring B. Both sides, yeah. Then we have the projectile motion. Now, you must wait for the section 5.3 notes to do that, okay? So whenever I teach that, whenever I do a video over that, make sure that you wait for that to do the projectile motion. That's another thing that you're going to turn in. Notice the puzzle worksheet as well as the Factoring B, you're going to turn in as well as the projectile motion. Projectile motion is this one, projectile motion. If you want to pick these all up at the beginning, that's totally fine. And then now this one is a book page, page 338, 1833. But that you need the 5.3 notes as well. Okay. And now this graphing review, this is something that you could turn in. I mean, this is something that you could do today too. This is just kind of review over section 5.2, the graphing. This is the graphing practice. Okay, so that's where everything is in the classroom. For those of you watching along at home, let me show you where everything is on Desmo, or not Desmo, on Canvas. Okay, so what you need to do is go click on modules. I know I've been posting everything within my Google Slides, but let's click on modules. If I click on modules, and actually, you know what? Let me show it to you in Student View so that you can see exactly what you're going to see. Because if you look at my stuff, I have got a lot of unpublished things there, and it might throw you off. So let me go within Student View. And I'll click on modules here. So go decrease that one. Okay, so you'll notice this header here. It says section 5.1 to 5.3 choice board materials. This is pretty much all the materials that you would need. This is, this is the blue sheet. That's the choice board PDF, right? This is what we're talking through right now. The Factoring Day 2 video is here. The Factoring worksheet is here. I tried to make it go in order of, going from left to right, top to bottom. Here's the Desmos activity. Again, if you click on that, it's going to open up to a new tab and kind of force open and say like, oh, hey, you might have a, oh man, I thought I changed the spelling on that. That's spelled wrong. That's a bummer. But anyway, it should open up into a new tab and walk you through an activity. Here's the puzzle worksheet. Here's the review Factoring B worksheet. Here's the graphing practice worksheet. Here's the projectile motion worksheet. As we go through, I'm going to post keys for these. Okay, post keys so that you can kind of check your answers. Now, there is a little agenda at the very bottom. Okay, and this is going to be on my my agenda for next week on my Google Slides on the front homepage starting next week. So Monday is just a work day. I'm just going to let you go off and running. You can work on anything at any time. Tuesday, hopefully I'm there to teach section 5.3. If not, I'll post a video. But we'll do section 5.3 on Tuesday, and the remaining time you'll have for a work day. Wednesday, fully work day. Thursday, that's going to be a fun day. We're going to be doing a group test. I will post more about that before Thursday. Friday, all assignments are due at the beginning of class. We're going to treat that Friday like a review day, and then sections 5.1 to 5.3 individual quiz is going to be Monday, and that's going to be Monday the 23rd, the Monday right before Thanksgiving. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of like the layout of the next couple of days. On these work days, the nice thing about doing our class like this is the fact that there's never any true homework assignments. Now, this is going to be like a big homework grade because again, you're going to be turning in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. That means this is going to be worth like 6 homework grades. So like 60 formative points. Each homework grade is usually 10 formative points. So this is going to be worth like 6 homework grades once you turn everything in. next Friday, okay? So that means that you should try to do like one thing each night and each day in class. If you want to, get ahead, you can do a couple of these things over the weekend as long as you do the prerequisites. But you use your time wisely. Know that everything is going to be due next Friday, and you're probably going to want to do things earlier rather than later. Know that Monday and Wednesday are just going to be full work days, though. You'll have the whole class to work. Okay. All right. So that's kind of a rundown over the next week, and I hope we're all staying healthy. I'll see you, folks.